Are you tweeting on Twitter? Are you on Facebook or Pinterest? Listen, do you know there's a social etiquette and there's a social way to get your stuff, your business and everything out there? Well, today we're talking with ReAnn Ring right here on Kim Gravel and the ATL. We're here with ReAnn Ring, a longtime friend of mine, and just a sharp businesswoman. And girl, you were here to talk to us about how to publicize things appropriately on social media. Etiquette, oh my gosh, etiquette's almost a lost art, is it not?
Yep, it sure is.
But
absolutely.
there's a proper, formal etiquette way to put things out on social media?
Right, well,
I
really,
thought you just put it out there.
Yeah, well, it boils down to the proper way to advertise when you're doing something that doesn't overwhelm your audience. And then there are proper channels to put your, whatever it is that you're putting on. If you're publicizing a ministry, if you're talking about a book, if you've got a film that's coming out, a show, there's several different ways that you can publicize what you're doing, but the tools that are available online are fabulous. You just have to know how to use them, and you have to follow etiquette in order to captivate your audience.
And hasn't it, really social media has changed the way that advertisers approach promoting things?
Yeah, well, if you look at your, your DVR and your TiVo, you blast right past those commercials. You're watching about 20% of the commercials we used to watch. And technically, in my opinion, and from what I'm seeing, we are watching more on the internet than we ever have on TV. And it's because we're on there more hours. If you really think how much time you spend on your laptop or on your Droid or your iPhone, you're spending more time on there than you are sitting in front of the tube. So really, they know what they're doing. When they're advertising to us to get online for social media and we're advertising back to an audience, those who are in the media world know what they're doing. They're making things more applicable, doable. Mark Zuckerman knows what he's doing on Facebook. He's making this so it's just this huge engine for advertising, for just socializing, and all the other things that are going on online. They're having to keep up with the times.
But ReAnn, what do you do because a lot of times I see those things on social media, Twitter, Facebook. I just zone out. It's static to me.
Right. Well, it depends on what your aim is. First of all, if you're not on the biggies, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and there are a few others, but those are the three.
Pinterest is just intimidating to me. I have no clue how to use it. We got to talk about that because you got to show me. You got to show me the proper etiquette of Pinterest.
I will give you a tutorial through it.
So it's the big three.
It's the big three, and really, I think Pinterest might possibly blow past Twitter pretty soon, only because we are so visual. Remember, everything online is visual. We captivate by pictures, so you need to make sure the posts you put on Facebook, anything that has to do with Twitter has a link to a picture, and on Pinterest especially, 79% of your audience is women. So when you have that kind of thing, we girls love visuals. We like bling, we like PD, we like things that are like whatever.
We like to shop.
Right, we like to shop, but also things that are, there's some of us on there that like something beyond the bling. We want something that has some meat to it. Since we're spending so much time on there, and people research online all the time, that's a fabulous time to get what you have online, so that you have your captive audience, and it's free.
Listen, I want to talk to you about this too, about the whole Google thing. Can we talk Google? How do you get your stuff to come up on Google?
The more you have online, and the key is content. Blogging is major. A lot of people don't realize how important.
Oh my gosh, really?
I know. Well, think about this. If you've got a book, you can take an excerpt from the book. You don't have to make up content every single day. But if you blog a couple times a week, even once a week, what content you put in there with links and all the things that go to the different places where you've posted information, and I highly recommend those three that I mentioned, those links that are involved in your blog, that content is going to make so that people will click through on those links. The more they click on those links, the more those things are going to pop up higher on what's called SEO, or search engine optimization. So when you put your name, Kim Gravel, you put it in there on the search, anything you've done that you've posted online with your name, and say they couple it with maybe your new show now, anything you've said online where that's listed, it's going to start popping up. So Channel 57 might say something about it on their website. They'll pull up your name. They might pull up whatever you've done in the past, and also things that you're doing currently. You better make sure what you're posting on there is good content too, because anything on there.
Any kind of skeletons you got, people.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, it does. It brings up everything. Okay, I want to talk to you about, I can tell you're passionate about this, which is exciting me a little bit, because I'm thinking, I need to hire ReAnn to do my social media.
That's what happens.
Etiquette stuff, whatever.
Right.
So how did you get into this?
It kind of happened by default. God's always guiding you into
Isn't it the
something,
truth?
and you look back and you see where he's connecting the dots. I had a passion for the name of Corrie ten Boom when I was about 8 years old. It's the first time I heard her.
I remember reading about this on Facebook.
I know, and it was amazing what happened. God can use anything. So the channel of social media now is what led me into doing anything that has to do with this particular topic. And I had heard a speaker at a 1995 conference that Jerry Sisk had.
Love her.
Oh, she's the bomb. And she's finally allowed me to put her online. Woot, woot. And people are paying attention to her all over the world. Through one of her conferences, I met Pam Rosewell Moore, who traveled with Corrie ten Boom. And she is now an author and speaker, and unbelievable. She has that gorgeous English accent, and she's just an enigma, really. When she speaks, it's captivating. Yeah, well, it changed my life when I heard her. Years later, fast forward, 17 years of being under Jerry's leadership, hundreds of us being raised to teach and lead, and you get kicked out of the nest. Now it's time for us to go on. My thing was business. I loved it. And I started doing this thing where I thought, wait a second, I need to go back and find these people and thank them and help them and pay it forward. How can I take these timeless messages combined with my own testimony and put it in front of people? Maybe these women need some help. So I Googled Pam Rosewell Moore, and there came a little bit of a website. It was pretty good. And I eventually found her on Facebook. Oh, I was so excited. I emailed her. She wrote me back. We started doing this pen pal thing, and next thing I knew, we were on the phone, and she asked if I would become a part of the board of directors of her ministry. And I was blown away. Well, when I flew out to see her, there were several tools that we could put online. Things about her book on Pinterest. We could put her on LinkedIn. There were all kinds of places that we needed to get her out there because she is a speaker. Speaking is really very competitive, and there are a lot of messages out there, but there's
a lot of people have, like you said, a lot of people have a message, and a lot of people want to be a speaker.
Right.
They want to do that.
They want to be a speaker, and they want to get the word out, or maybe they're not really that good at speaking, but they're fabulous at writing. So there's whatever your strength is what you want to maximize online. But in the business world, I had learned how to create a product from nothing to something through God's help, and through that I learned the blogging and online whatever for advertising. From that, I was able to take it into the world of ministry. Everything's ministry anyway, and I thought, I can use this to help others. Then I went to Jerry and asked her, can I put you on the internet? And she prayed about 2 months, and I was tapping my toes and my fingers, and I said,
I know the answer, Jerry. Just come on, honey.
And it's the first time. The woman's a Mensa, all right? She's brilliant. She'll kill me for saying that. She is a genius. So when she studies God's word and she assimilates that and she teaches us, it's amazing. And I thought, we're selfish to hold her to ourselves.
Right. Sure.
We need to get her out there. Sure enough, she's been read now, her blogs in Africa. People across the United States will email her and say, that lesson you taught last week posted online, on the 4th line down, they're paying attention to what she's saying. So she calls me and she says, you were right. I finally knew something more than she did.
You were right.
That's the only thing I've ever been right about. Anyway, from that, I did some more work with Pam, and I met a lady through the Corrie ten Boom fan page on Facebook, and she and I began to talk. She's playing this in the sequel film, Return to the Hiding Place, as Corrie ten Boom.
Which is this movie here you're here to talk about today.
I know, I'm so excited. So she and I began talking online, and we friended each other, and I'm always a little skeptical hearing somebody saying I'm in a Corrie ten Boom film. I'm like, what film is that? I took a trip to Chicago with Pam to research for her next book, and come to find out that actress lived there in Chicago. And she said, can I come and meet you? I would love to meet Pam. She loves Corrie like I do. And I thought, what an honor that would be for all of us to get together, and then I'd get to know a little more about the sequel film. Pam already knew about the film. She just hadn't said much. You don't know until it comes out whether things are really going to happen. So,
amen to that.
Seriously, Mimi Sagadan is the actress. She came and met us at the Billy Graham Archive Center where we were researching, and it was love at first sight for all of us. We just had the girlfriend thing going on immediately. And she took me to her producer and director, who is the brains behind the sequel film, Return to the Hiding Place, and approached him about a film I wanted to do for Pam. And next thing I knew, we were invited to the screening of his current film he's working on now in Dallas, and he called me 2 weeks later and said, would you like to be the publicist? Now, Kim, I had not done anything. Now, I hardly had a conversation with the man other than on the phone, How did he know I knew anything about social media? It was such a God thing. That all came through online social media, Facebook and
ReAnn, people are being discovered
yeah.
on social media.
Justin Bieber, hello?
Yes, I mean, there's so many avenues, because a lot of people say the internet's the devil. I mean, Lord help, I've heard my...
It can be.
But it's really can be used as a tool, and that's what I like what you're bringing. How can people get a hold of you if they need your services on even how to be trained on social media?
Right. Well, the key is just go online and put my name in, ReAnn. Okay, I gotta live what I preach here. But also, if you go on Facebook, you can find me under the fan page of Return to the Hiding Place. It stars Corey's Youth Army, who actually did the underground work with her. It's got a wonderful message, and also I'm on LinkedIn, Twitter. I'm all over Facebook, and you can find me just about anywhere online.
So basically, you're saying through social media, we can spread the gospel.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And the message of anything that we have. Right now, the hot topics, human trafficking, bullying. We've got people who are, cyberbullying. There are ways to safeguard through that, and that's by making sure you watch what you post and also have some accountability on there. Because people have that fearful thing and the devil's in it. But if you're not online, you are missing a huge opportunity. You really are. You're missing an opportunity for free advertising. Even if it's low-cost advertising on there, it's worth it. Pinterest, oh my word, you need to get I have the film on there. I'm able to post quotes, bios about our actors, the release date.
How time-consuming is this, ReAnn?
It depends on how much you want to put in it. I really think you need to stick to one or two things, and the etiquette part, don't overdo it. On Pinterest, you don't need more than 2 or 3 posts per day. That's a lot on Pinterest anyway. But if you bombard people with a whole page full of your stuff, they're going to lose interest. You need to be cryptic in what your description is. And same thing on anything that you're doing. Notice the movie stars. Somebody has 10 million followers. If it happens to be that they follow you back on Twitter and they like something you've said that's kind of compelling and they click on that, they might retweet your post that you put in front of their 10 million people. Can I get a witness? That's huge.
You can't pay for that kind of advertising.
No,
we don't have the budgets for that.
And think of the secular audience you're reaching.
Sure.
I have had more people inbox me with prayer requests. Can I talk to you? Can I meet you? I'd like to invite you to speak. I didn't ask for that. They just said, hey, we've been watching what you've been putting online, and we feel like there's a connection here. And of course, you have to screen those things. But from that, all these wonderful things have been happening. I never dreamed I'd be a publicist for a film. Never in a million years.
But you know what? God is never, he's always has a purpose for a purpose,
Yes,
and on purpose.
Yep.
Don't you think so, ReAnn?
Absolutely, especially when the message is something as deep as what it is. We all know what's going on in today's world. And in our particular film, we saw what happened with Hitler when sin was left unchecked.
Yes.
He was the master of human bullying and trafficking. The fact is that there is a true hero of back then that is applicable to now through Hans Pillay.
Yes.
That's the key. So if you can get a message, any message, current, of old, or whatever, if you can make it applicable to issues of now, you're going to have people's attention. You're going to have your history buffs, but I'm not aiming for the World War II history buffs. I'm aiming for our young people.
You're trying to bring a message that's never ending.
Right. And for us boomers, those who are baby boomers, middle age, whatever, you need to make sure that you're staying in touch with our youth, because that's where they're going online. I am very passionate about making sure we don't lose track of our young people because we don't know how to do technology. That really, it's our responsibility.
Can I just, we don't have a lot, but I just got to talk to you about, since we're talking about etiquette, what about people posting negative stuff and just always...
Now, I think a rant once in a while is okay. Because if you are one that's known for an opinion, you need to be honest. People need to know where you stand. And really, we're being tested. But the daily digesting of things, sometimes I go, oh my word. We need to watch our language.
There.
Oh, there is an etiquette. I think you need to just, if you're going to say anything, always turn it around to a positive ending. Make sure that you always have something that you're bringing up that has, the sandwich approach. This is great, this is negative, but this is good.
You got to come back and talk about social media.
Love to.
Love you, ReAnn. Remember your social media etiquette. Get on Facebook and Pinterest.